Hello again, guys. It is I, Frieza700. We are back with some Kingdom Under Fire lore. This time, mutations. What the fuck are those? Now, when we're talking about mutations, we are not talking about something like, oh, he's got the mutation to have blue eyes. Oh, she has the mutation to have blonde hair. Oh, he's got the mutation to have curly hair. She has straight hair. No. When we talk about mutation, we're talking about the direct corruption of your body when you're in a certain circumstance. Now, in Kingdom Under Fire, thankfully, there's one whole game, literally just one, that specifically will talk about this topic over and over and over and over. It is great. It is perfect. And that would be Circle of Doom. Now, Circle of Doom wasn't my kind of game, but I still played it nonetheless, just for the story. And the story was there. It was just very rare to ever fucking come across it. And a lot of it is about this mutation topic, so let's talk about it. When it comes to a mutation, how would you get one? Is usually you have been corrupted by the foul magic of the dark dimension. Or even better yet, you just use Ankablosa's power. Ankablosa is the realm of darkness. More or less, he's the dark god compared to Nibel, who's the god of light. Now, the interesting thing about this topic is that we've only seen it where a creature of light, aka a human, would be mutated because they were using dark magic or they were in a realm full of darkness. Well, the same could be said vice versa. If Lord Nibel was taking control of his own realm of darkness and a creature of darkness came into his realm, they would suffer the same mutations as a human would. The only difference is that the mutations may actually look different. They may look a little bit more angelical instead of demonic, but we never know because we've never seen it. But it still stands as fact that if the humans can have it because they're creatures of light, then the creatures of darkness can suffer it too if they're in a realm of light. So, besides that, mutation though is actually very fascinating because it's randomized. There is no set course. Like, some people will be heavily mutated. They'll grow wings, they'll get massive horns on their head, the metal of their armor will start to warp and shape into almost like an organic substance. It will be nasty. It will be crazy how much their mutations are spiraling out of control. But then there will be another mutant who looks totally human, just looks like he's wearing a thick-ass plate of steel armor. But he may be super fast and super strong, and that's it. That would be aka Keither. He was pretty normal looking when you look at him. It's just that he was super fucking fast and super deadly. Now, when it comes to the mutations, is there a risk? Is there a risk of something bad happening? Yes, all the time. So what is your biggest concern when you enter the dark dimension is that you're now beginning to mutate whether you know it or not. And these mutations will be small. It's like, oh wow, I just crushed this guy's skull with my bare hand. Well, I have been bulking up, I've been fighting these monsters 24/7, so yeah, that's normal. No, that's not normal. You're actually being mutated, slowly, and internally you are slowly warping to the powers of mutation. Now, one of the interesting things about this, though, is that mutation actually affects your soul and your mind. Now, those are usually like the end stages of the mutation, but around the halfway point through your mutation, you'll start developing purple skin, you'll start developing really bulging muscles, your armor might start taking weird shapes out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden your steel plate armor now is starting to curl upwards. It's like, that's a little worrying. Well, it's by that point that people start losing their minds. And that is when, of course, once you lose your mind, you are no longer you anymore. Your soul has been totally tainted and totally gone. So, now let's talk about Kingdom Under Fire 2. The issue with mutations is that it seems like they've started to control it. Now, that is a very deadly idea indeed. This is why it would usually take a skilled individual to mutate an individual warrior. But usually what would happen is a very strong warrior seeks to get stronger. Because, after all, if you're going to be a warrior, it's kind of useless that you can only swing a two-handed sword when, meanwhile, you're fighting orcs and ogres who can wield something way heavier, like a 50, 80-pound weapon, and just whack you down. So, of course, they would risk the mutation and suffer some sort of dark manifestation in order to try to bulk up like Rainier. picture right here. So they would risk it, but if something happens, they could actually mutate in a really interesting way. They could mutate into just a blob. They could mutate into a lizard. They could mutate into what they actually desire, which is just a bigger, bulkier form. Again, mutation is not a set course. So when it comes to the whole idea of mutation and going, oh, I'm going to strictly mutate just so I could get stronger, not necessarily. There's this idea that I have about these little guys who are on spikes, is that they're actually your soldiers. They were the soldiers who entered hell with you from Kingdom Under Fire Crusaders. It's just that they lost their mind and succumbed to the mutation, so now they're on spikes and they're just pretty much blocking your path every step of the way. But again, it's a mutation. They're not dark creatures, but they are just heavily mutated by the dark dimension. Now that being said though, is there possibility, Freezer 700, that I can mutate myself without risking my soul and my mind? Is there a way I could block this off? Yeah, there is actually. There's actually 2 ways that you can go about saving your soul and your mind, but allow your body to mutate and take its course, so that way you become stronger and better and more awesome. There's actually a 3rd way now I think about it. So the first way is to devote yourself to Ankablosa, and he will spare your mind. He may even spare you a mutation, because again, for Celis in Kingdom Under Fire 2, he wouldn't gain much by mutating his body. But he could bless him with certain abilities like a mutation, give him extra speed, extra strength. That's a mutation-y ability. But when it comes to the more normal way, you can do a quest to find a little bit of water. It's a very sacred water in the dark dimension. And if you drink it, it purifies your soul and your mind and protects it against mutation, but not your body. That is something that Moonlight was aware of, and he told Kendall this. He's like, I can save you from mutation. Drink this. Ankablosa started mocking him and saying, Moonlight lied to you. Reality was, he just saved your mind. And that's when Moonlight says, you need this mutation if you're going to be strong enough to face Rainier. So that's something that's very interesting about this sacred water. The other way you can protect yourself is actually by being very single-minded individual. This is something that I think is really fascinating. So when it comes to it, Lionheart and Sir Dwayne are both very single-minded individuals. Dwayne is in it for the money. That's all he cares about is money, 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 money. And so what happens here is that since he's so devoted to greed and money, and Lionheart is so devoted to power and just lusting for women, this actually protects their minds and their soul because their minds are so geared and so targeted towards a very specific target. But their bodies, though, again, will suffer some mutation. Lionheart, not so much. But Sir Dwayne, though, on the other hand, you will see his body starts to become more golden, more metallic. And that's a reflection of his soul, which I think is very fascinating. So Moonlight talks about this, about how individuals who are very determined are able to basically have a pure soul and pure mind without any problem. So if you're that warrior I was talking about and you're seeking any way possible to get bigger and stronger and be the toughest guy in the room, you're so singularly focused on this. You don't care about women, you don't care about money, you don't care about literally anything. All you care about is just getting stronger. Well, that would actually be a saving grace for you. That could actually save your mind and your soul, because you're so focused that the dark corruption cannot actually hinder your mind. It can't sway your mind into insanity. No, you're so focused on this, you're already kind of insane in some regard. Now, when we talk about Lionheart, Lionheart's a vampire. Now, when it comes to dark dimensional beings who are in a dark dimension after living in a realm of light, they cannot suffer more mutations. That's just impossible. So this is where it gets very interesting, is that they have to specifically talk to Ankablosa about mutations, and Ankablosa will go, I'll try my best to mutate you, and the best he can do is just physical stuff. Like maybe make your skin paler, maybe add a spike or 2 along your cheeks, but nothing actually detrimental. And this is something that Lionheart was noticing. This is something that I think is very fascinating, is that Ankablosa says that this pill will allow Lionheart to mutate. Well, we never seen evidence of it yet. All we know is that Lionheart falls down, he's wounded all of a sudden, or something is weird happening to him. So I'm not going to count that as a mutation. Instead, what I'm going to think of is just simply this. You cannot re-mutate something that you've already created. If I am the god of light and I create an angel and an angel comes to me asking to be mutated, I can't do it. But if the angel goes to the dark dimension and gets corrupted by a darkness, that's it. She can stay that way. I cannot get rid of the mutation, neither can I mutate her again on top of it. It would be impossible. So this is something that I actually really like, is that in order for you to mutate and get stronger and bigger, you have to put a bit of risk into it. You have to put yourself in a situation where you're not supposed to be in. Well, besides that, this has been Freezer 700. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you guys learned a thing or two. Comment down below what you guys think about mutations. I think it's very fascinating, the idea that single-minded individuals, that's actually their saving grace. It's like you're so focused on trying to get some pussy that the dark dimension can't corrupt your soul. You're that determined. That's something I enjoy. Besides that, Freezer 700, I'm out. See you guys next time.